Hello everyone, welcome to Dandelion Lessons this week. Yeah, well, it's sunny outside. My little willow tree is all lit up from the morning sunshine. I'm watching about 8 squirrels, gray and red squirrels, eating together under the bird feeder, and about 5 different species of birds. It's pretty fun. Lots going on, and we have a brand new baby fawn in the yard. We saw her this morning with her mama, and they're in the back of the yard lying in the grass right now. Brand new baby, all wobbly, teeny tiny, just the sweetest thing. So, new life, beauty, the honesty of nature, right? Beautiful. So today I thought I would do an actual project and not just an intuitive lesson, something that's just kind of fun. As many of you know, I'm working on a new book about drawing for everyone, and I just finished a cactus project. It was super fun. Of course, it's not painted, but it had me wanting to paint cactus again. And I know we've done that before, but I thought we'd do it again, but with a little bit of a different slant to it. So we're going to do that today, a little bit of a mixed media cactus. Prickly things can be beautiful, right? So my husband's actually out painting the front porch right now, and we have this one barberry bush that he has sworn at since the day he moved in here. And he doesn't like it because it's full of prickers, right? And it's actually, it doesn't matter how many times you remove that plant, it comes back. I mean, you think you've got it, and then the next year you have this full-grown plant. But the thing is it's really beautiful, and animals love it. Animals aren't afraid of the prickers. So, birds and stuff go into it. I don't know, they just must know where to land. But it's beautiful, and I'm not going to let him cut it down anymore. So anyways, especially in the spring when the new growth comes, it's the most gorgeous variation of colors. So pretty. So I thought I would start by drawing a card from a deck that I haven't pulled out in a while. This is the Inner Compass deck. It's made by a Dutch graphic designer, but she doesn't have her, Neil van Lierop. Neil van Lierop. Lierop, but they're at innercompasscards.com, and I really like these. I believe it was my friend Kathy that told me about them, and they have a very sort of Zen quality to them, a really spare sort of graphic design feel that's very appealing to me, and I like them, and I really like the guidebook. It's lovely, and I think they have a new deck. I don't have it, but I think they have a new deck as well. So we're just gonna draw a card, and this is it's I guess you could call it an oracle deck, but it isn't really. It's just a self-reflection deck, right? Which is how I use all of my decks. Such beautiful artwork and inspiration in decks. So, Wonderment. Hey, and isn't that what I was just expressing, right? And what we all could use a little more of right now. Wonderment. I love her images because they're not always clear initially what's going on. And I see different things every time. This is such a simple thing with just a circle divided into 2 with sort of peaks of a mountain or elements drawn on top. But from a distance, it really looks like a black and white photograph of light coming through the forest. All sorts of symbols over here. Each could mean something different at different times. I love that she puts these little elements like this tiny little black cross. It's beautiful. So that's the image of Wonderment. But mostly I want to read what the book says because I really like this book. So Wonderment is the last card in the deck. It's card 40. So, okay. Do you remember when you last looked at the world with wide-eyed wonder? You may have become blasé and taken some things for granted. Try to look at everything and everyone around you with fresh, curious eyes. Empty yourself of existing frameworks and concepts. Anticipate whatever is going on right now without foreknowledge or prehistory. This state of wonderment is a state of unknowing. Look at the world as if you see it for the first time. Lower your pace. Be attentive. Feel the ground under your feet. Feel the wind around you. Feel a hug from a friend. Take the position of a child that perceives the world for the first time, fully open and excited. The original meaning of Buddha is a human being who has awoken from ignorance, who is full of wonder again and open to his infinite potential, or her infinite potential. We all carry that same inner wisdom and potential. Today, observe without judgment, practice love and curiosity. What do you see? The world is a magical place. You will become enchanted with existence once again. The state of wonderment is a state of unknowing. I love that. I love that. I love it, love it, love it. Isn't it true? Drawing teaches us this, right? I mean, when we, where is my one thing that I want? Shoot, it's in the other room, I think. Hold on. No, it's right here. So magnolias, right? Magnolia shrubs, magnolia trees. When you see a magnolia flower blooming, it's so breathtaking that we never think about what's left over after the flower is gone. But when we look at it and we pick one up to draw it, we realize that what's left behind is even more intricate and beautiful than the flower. If we really look at it, it's quite something. It's a work of art. It's like someone took a carving tool and spent days carving this beautiful, beautiful object, right? A sense of wonderment helps us to see these things that we might miss otherwise. And it is an unlearning. So it's an unlearning in that it empties us so we can fill it up with new visions and new wonder and new knowing. I love that. Wonderment. Okay. So let's do our project. I'm not going to turn off and do music today. I'm going to just talk you through this. So we're going to start by drawing an oval. And I'm just going to draw an oval. Okay. And I'm going to follow that oval down and draw a curve that matches it. Sorry, my phone kicked off. So that's the oval pointing down, okay? And then I'm going to draw another one connected here. And then maybe another one comes up right here. And then maybe another half oval comes back here. And another one here. And then maybe one here. And do you notice that I'm just drawing right over it? Right? I'm not worried about drawing right over things. I can do that. Okay? Maybe one more coming out from over here. And a little one right here. I'm just building one after the other, drawing right over, because this is pencil. And with pencil, we can erase. So now that's my job. My job is to erase. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to erase the places where there are lines underneath. And you have to make that decision. What do you want to be in front? What do you want to be behind? It's pretty simple. Okay. And there. Let me get my brush, hold on. Okay, so now we have a pot, right, with the shape of a cactus in it. It's a pretty simple thing. Okay, I can just sort of clean up those edges there. Now I'm looking at it. Is it exactly what I want? Do I want a few more little nubbies? Maybe one coming off right there with another one here. Just balancing it a little bit. Okay, so it's a very simple drawing to do this. It's just shapes, right? It's just starting with an oval, drawing a curved line that matches this curve, right? And then connecting them with lines, and then drawing some more ovals, one on top of the other. Okay? Okay, so we're done with our pencil. Now, what's going to make this a little different is I'm going to choose a palette. I'm just going to pick one up, and I picked this one up this morning, and this one has a lot of grays and neutrals in it. And it has one turquoise. So I am going to use colors that aren't typical of cactuses, right? And you can pick, my hope is that you'll pick up something randomly, or put your hand in a bucket of of paint tubes and pull out 5, you know, and not think about what they are, and use those to make your painting. Okay, so we're not thinking hard about it. We're just allowing the colors just to happen as they happen. So I have this palette, and I'm going to start by painting my pot, and I'm just going to sort of hover my brush over this, kind of close my eyes and put my brush down. So actually, I'm not going to use that one. That is a wild thorn paint that I should take it out of there. When you use it, it just brushes right off the paper. I always forget. I haven't used this palette in a long time. So I'm going to do it again. Put my brush over the paints and then just plop it down. And this is the closest. So I'm going to paint my pot with this color. Okay. Now I am not going to, this is a very unusual color. It's got rust in it and verdigris, copper. It's very strange. It's not made anymore. And there's a good reason for that, because it does change colors, but that's okay. I don't care about that. So I'm just going to paint my pot with this color. I'm going to paint all the way up to the cactus, to the top of the pot. Oops. Okay. And then all the way down the sides. Whatever color you choose. And you can do many of these and make greeting cards to give as gifts. They don't take long to do, and they turn out so lovely. Okay, so I've got the whole pot done. Then I am going to look, and I'm going to pick the darkest color in my palette, which I think is this one. And I'm just going to drop some of the darkest color towards the right side and the bottom, okay? Then I'm going to take my wet brush and just drop some water in so that the two colors sort of mix together, all right? We're going to go ahead and let this dry, because we're going to paint the inside of the pot a different color later, but I want this to dry before we paint the cactus, okay? Okay, so this is not totally dry for some reason. I mean, it's been 45 minutes and I got to keep going. So we're going to hope that we do okay with this. I think it's going to be fine. It's not like gushing wet around here. So you take the time to let yours dry, and hopefully your house isn't as humid as mine. So now we're going to start painting the cactus, okay? And we're going to change the colors up a little bit every single time. Okay, and I want, so let me see here, hold on. I had, here we go. You're just gonna need a little plate or palette. Okay, so I'm gonna put that right here so you can kind of see what I'm doing. There's the palette, there's my painting, here's my paints. Okay, so no matter what paints that you pulled out, they're on your palette, and you're just gonna grab one. Okay, and go ahead and just stick it in. I need to probably wet my paints first. So stick it into your palette, make a nice little puddle of it, and then just start, okay? I'm gonna start up here. And you know, I'm gonna use a different brush because this brush is very wet. I'll use this one. So go ahead and grab some of that first color that you pulled from your palette and just paint one section of your cactus, okay? Then rinse your brush, grab another color randomly, mix it into your first color, and paint the next section. There's no reason why they can't touch or mix or mingle, all right? Let them sort of flow one into the other. And then I'm gonna grab another color. My palette's very muted, so it's gonna all be kind of gray, but how cool is that? Go to the next one. So it might not look terribly different, but it is. It is different. Go ahead and paint that one. Try to keep your paint nice and fluid, not too dark and opaque. All right, it's okay if they touch one another. Grab another color, mix it in. I'm gonna mix some water into mine because I want this to stay fluid. I don't want it to be too opaque. Paint the next one. Grab another color. I guess I'll try this turquoise. Paint the next one. And again, it's okay if the paints touch each other and mix and mingle, okay? And go right down here to the bottom. Grab another color. So depending on the colors you choose, you could have some really cool things happening, right? Especially if you had like a rainbow palette or something. Wow. Super cool. But you notice that one color is mixed into the next color, so all of the colors have harmony, right? All of them have harmony. Take some of that color. Whatever you pick is what you have to deal with, okay? What is the colors that you're going to use. And you'll get different results every single time because you're using a different palette or a different assortment of pans that you pick out from a palette every time. I'm using every color in here, why not? Okay. There's no reason why I shouldn't use every color. You can also limit your colors if you want to. That's up to you. The point is, the main point here is to be really random about things. What haven't I used? I haven't used this one. Okay, so now my cactus is all filled in. It has a really lovely effect because it's all sort of harmonious, right? And these are very muted colors, and I like that effect. Some of these even have sparkle in them, and so when it dries, you might see a little bit of shimmer, right? Now, once that's done, I'm going to once again grab the darkest color, okay, and put some of that in my palette. And I'm going to paint the inside of the pot. Even though nothing is dry, totally dry, I'm just going to paint the inside of the pot. So it's kind of right along the bottom of the cactus and along the side. Okay, and it might bleed down into it. It might bleed up into the cactus. That's okay. We're not so worried about that. Let me just put a little bit more paint on this piece just to show you what would happen if they did end up sort of bleeding together. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? It's actually a beautiful effect. That's one of the things watercolor does best. Okay, so now this is all done, all right, as far as painting goes, but I am going to put a little shadow. Now, this part of our, the right side of our pot is darker and the bottom is darker. That's because we're going to pretend the light's coming this way and it's casting a shadow to this direction. Okay, so all I'm going to do is take some of that mix, whatever I've got on my palette of all the colors that I've used, and I'm just going to draw a line sort of underneath my pot, leaving a teeny tiny little bit of light. Okay, and then I'm just going to take clear water and push into it. And let it sort of disappear. Okay, just a little shadow there to anchor our pot to the page. And leaving a little bit of light is sometimes very effective. All right. Okay, now this does have to dry completely, so I'm going to go do some other work and come back later, and we're going to put some mixed media features onto our cactus. Okay, so mostly dry, maybe a little damp here and there. So now we're going to put away our paintbrush and our paints, and we're just going to use a pencil and a white gel pen, okay? So no matter what colors you used, you just need a number 2 pencil and a white gel pen. I use, this is a mechanical pencil in 0.5. It's just an HB lead. It's nice and fine, which I like. Don't have to sharpen it over and over again. And then this is the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen in a 1 fine. It's a fine liner. And this is the best white gel pen ever. I've only recently discovered it. And, you know, I can show you. Over watercolor, it actually really works. And it comes out perfectly. So this is the gel pen of choice. Whatever white gel pen you have is also fine. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my pencil, all right, and I'm going to go around and give things a little extra weight, okay? So anywhere that things connect, I'm putting a little extra line weight, all right? And anything where things kind of go behind, a little extra line weight. Maybe on this, on the lower edge of things, you can emphasize it, but here it meets this. So I'm just putting a little extra line weight there. This is something when things intersect. It's just a subtle thing you can do to give a little bit more weight and interest to these sort of simple drawings, right? Just a little bit here and there. And just kind of work your way around. Not too much. You don't want to make it look heavy. Okay, and I can also do that here at the inside of my pot. Just sort of draw a line. Okay, and at the lower edge if you want to. Just a little bit, depending on what color your pot turned out. All right, so just a little bit of pencil like that. Now the other thing I want to do is I want to put a few little pricker marks coming out from the side, right? So every now and then coming out from the sides of my cactus pieces, I want to put these 2 little pencil marks that are sort of suggestive that these have prickers on them. Thorns, spines, right? Off to the side. Now we also want to put them on the inside, okay? So they do have a little bit of a pattern. And so what I'm going to do, on the darker ones, I'm going to leave plain. On the lighter ones, I'm going to start at the top and just put little marks and stagger them evenly. So start with 1, then I've got 1 on either side, then I've got 1, then 1 on either side. See how I'm doing that? The darker ones I'll leave alone. The lighter ones I'll stagger with pencil. Okay. This one's fairly light. See how this paint turns so many colors? It's super cool. Unfortunately, it continues to change color, so you have no idea how it's going to be in a week, which is fine. It's fine for little projects like this, but it's not, they don't make this color anymore for whatever reason. All right, so now I'm looking, I feel pretty good about that. And I'm going to take my white gel pen. The first thing I'm going to do is remember that my shadow's on this side. Okay, so I'm just going to put just a teeny little bit of light on the upper edge of my pot and just sort of let it run off into the distance. Okay, just to sort of highlight that edge. And then on the darker pieces, I'm going to do the same with white. I'm putting little marks, sort of staggering them, any of the darker pieces. So in other words, where pencil isn't going to show up really well, you're going to use white gel pen. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Okay. You can also go in, if you want to, you can put a little bit of white on some of the other ones here and there too. Just little dots of it, just to bring some interest to it. Not all of them, but there. And that's it. That's all we have to do. And what a beautiful image, right? So simple but elegant, looks like cactus, and would make a lovely series of note cards. So if you need a special birthday gift for someone, maybe you can do a series, maybe 4 of them, all different, right? Each one different colors. And then when they dry, wrap them up in a pretty bow and you have a lovely gift for someone. If you're looking for watercolor note cards, Strathmore makes them. They're not expensive. I think I get a box of 100 for like $20 or something, 20 something dollars. And they're note cards made out of watercolor paper, and then they have envelopes. They come with envelopes. You could make sets of these for gifts. So just an idea. I just thought we'd do something a little bit different today. And don't forget our idea about, our thoughts about wonderment, right? That was really beautiful. I think that was the perfect card for today. All right. All right, everybody, take care, and I will see you next week with another Danda lesson. And for my patrons, I will see you tomorrow with another lesson on our Lotus project. All right, take care.